Then we'll have the pledge. Thank you.
May I give an invocation?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Our gracious God in heaven, creator of all things here on earth and in heaven and below the earth, we give thanks to you this day for your purposes, for being here to conduct the governing business of the village of Ruidoso. We also pray for those that have suffered loss in Texas, Father, Kirk County, and the devastation that has happened there. Bring comfort and strength to all. Protect the first responders all across this nation and give them the strength and comfort that they can endure the tragedy. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. All right, thank you, everybody. And yes, we want to keep all of Central Texas in our thoughts and prayers and see how bad it was and how fortunate we've been. Can I get a roll call, please, ma'am?
Mayor Crawford,
Here.
Councilor Eby,
Here.
Councilor Letterman, here. Councilor Salas,
Here.
Councilor Hooker,
Here.
Councilor Jackson,
Here.
Councilor Corey.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you. If I could get approval of today's agenda, please give the chair the ability to move items around as fitted.
Mr. Mayor, move that we approve the agenda as presented and allow the chair to move items for discussion at will.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Councilor Jackson,
Aye.
Councilor Hooker,
Aye.
Councilor Corey,
Aye.
Councilor Salas,
Aye.
Councilor Letterman,
Aye.
Councilor Eby.
Okay. And again, I want to give a quick thank you to all the staff and everyone at the village, first responders, and that includes the streets department and all those guys yesterday with the 2 floods that we have, which is a part of daily life now during the monsoon seasons. We just need to be aware of that. And thank you for being able to reach out to the community. The reverse 911, all of those things, people came together really quick and are paying attention. And while that is being said, and we know that we're under flood alert, we do have to conduct business. Businesses need our support. And so if you look at Facebook, I'm a pretty dumb guy right now. I heard somebody laugh out there. I hope that wasn't an approval of it, but the goal of the village is to protect the village, and we make our living off of the GRT that people buy, spend in the community, and that's how we are able to do the things that we do here in the community. While that being said, yes, we are trying to be very safe. We're trying to let the public know, but every time that we have an alert that comes up from the emergency management department, the fire department, we have the streets department, the utility department, everybody is in position. We have equipment that is out and ready to go so that we can pull things out of the river so we do not have backups because of debris. But you can see, and just from what we've seen in Texas, that water is a very powerful thing. We know that. We had a meeting yesterday at the end of the Mountain Gods with the Legislative Economic Development Corp. And, they were super impressed that things are getting done so quickly. But if you're not doing the work, it seems easy. And so we know that you guys, it's not easy work. It's never easy, comfortable, or any of those things. So we appreciate everything that you do. And we just want the public to know that we do everything possible to safeguard, to alert, to let you know where it's at. And I appreciate the messaging that we've been able to put out from the Public Information Office to let people know where there is high ground. And for example, we had several floods this last week that we were getting it all the way through Upper Canyon, reports coming through, it's taken over, we had the Brady Canyon here, then it went down on into Innsbrook. We were getting really close to getting Innsbrook finished here with the contractor. Cree Meadows Road to be redone, and then you can see Paradise Canyon. Thank you to MP Chavez that has a contract on that for getting Paradise Canyon back open. And then it just goes all the way down through to the racetrack. And so we're watching it all the way through. While the flood event was happening, the people at the racetrack didn't even know it because it wasn't raining at the track. So that's how tricky this is. But everybody knew, people were aware, there were people still shopping in the community. So if that makes me a nut job, then I guess I'm a nut job. So I'll just leave it right there. Consent regular items. Item number 1, approval of governing body minutes. June 10th, 2025, regular meeting. June 20th, 2025, special meeting. June 27th, 2025, emergency meeting. July 1st, 2025, workshop meeting. Item number 2 is approval of adoption of resolution 2025-21, a resolution amending the Village of Ruidoso Personnel Policy, Chapter 4, Section 426 and 427. Item number 3 is approval of grant agreement between the Village of Ruidoso and the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration for the New Mexico E911 program grant to fund the public safety answering points. That's the PSAPs at the Village of Ruidoso for the period of time between July 1st, 2025 and June 30th, 2026. Item number 3, you got that one. Item number 4, approval of Village of Ruidoso Police Department recruiting incentive payments for recruitment of entry-level police officer candidates and lateral police officer candidates. Item number 5, approval of amendment number 1 to joint funding agreement JFA number 24 RGJFA 35 with the United States Department of Interior for the geomorphic survey of North Fork Eagle Creek from North Eagle Creek stream gauge to Eagle Creek below South Fork stream gauge in the amount of $5,769.00 for a total amount of $64,000 no cents, and to extend the end date to September 30th, 2026. Item number 6 is approval of the purchase of a 2025 John Deere 300 P-tier skid steer loader for Four Rivers Equipment from Four Rivers Equipment, utilizing Sourcewell contract number 163-721-2025 in the amount of $87,700 no cents for the Sierra Blanca Regional Airport. Item number 7 is approval of agreement with the Village of Ruidoso Chamber of Commerce for professional services for operation of the Ruidoso Visitor Center, Billy the Kid Visitor Center, and the Wingfield Heritage House Museum for the Village of Ruidoso in the amount of $227,700. Number 8, approval of memorandum of understanding between the Village of Ruidoso and the Ruidoso Municipal Schools for the joint use of facilities.
Mayor, I move approval of the consent agenda items as read.
Second?
Second. Anyone else? No discussion. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
All right. Thank you, everyone. Where do we have Mr. Francisco located?
Mayor Crawford, maybe public input?
Is that where we're going to have?
We can put him under mayoral reports and present. We'll add him on
I
that.
want to get him because he's got a lot of crap to do.
We could have him come up.
Y'all don't know, he's the district engineer for our district, and I know we've got a lot of different things. So if we'll move to mayoral reports and presentations, if we could, I'd like to go ahead and have Francisco come up, our district engineer, and we like to give him a hard time, but he does a great job. You can tell it instantly when we come from District 1, I believe it is, to District 2, when it's snowing, the highway's clear. And so we appreciate that. We appreciate all the help that you guys do on 70 and the work that you've done to get us to where we're at today. So welcome.
Well, thank you, Mayor and fellow councilors.
Pleasure to be here today. I don't have anything formal today, as usual. It's usually updates and something a little bit more formal. So mainly here to stand for questions and any information you need for NMDOT, how we're utilizing forces during these challenging times of floods or any potential projects that are coming up to help mitigate some of the flooding. Really any questions that you may have for DOT. That's mainly, Ron had asked me to come up here and kind of talk about anything you guys wanted to talk about, really.
Francisco, there's been some chatter on social media about how the floodwaters are being handled on 48. What's the state's role and the village's role in managing that?
So, and that's always a tough one, managing waters. One thing that people, at least from the DOT perspective, sometimes misunderstand is, we can only control what's between the right-of-way lines, and that's not much area, really. So what we're doing right now in the interim, while we continue to evaluate bigger solutions, is just really, interim solutions within the right-of-way line. So we're not changing anything. We're just trying to mitigate what's happening between the right-of-way lines, really.
To answer your question, Councilor Corey?
Not quite, but.
So, I know he's doing some dancing.
Yeah.
So we'll ask one more question, we'll get here some.
So do you, Councilor Corey, is there a specific area there, probably Brady Canyon?
Well,
Or?
there,
I've got one.
Council Letterman.
It's like Albertson's area, Ford Drive. And we have a new apartment, or not apartment, a housing project on
Sure.
603 Meacham. But across the road, and I don't know the name of,
Buckner.
on Buckner, there's a house that is next door to the water, it looks like it was built for.
Retention pond?
Yeah, a retention pond. Well, on Sunday or Monday, the days go by, they're saying that they got 2 inches of water, and it was gushing. I've got the video, but it doesn't look like it's coming from 603. They blamed us, the village, because we built the new property. But as I went up there, I didn't see any water that looked like it had made indentures. It's all coming from Poor and Sutterth.
Okay.
Is there anything that we can do about that? I don't know that the water was going into where it was supposed to go into.
So one thing we are looking at, and our maintenance engineer, and he just started, Ken Barnett, and the village personnel has definitely met Ken and been interactive with Ken. One thing I was doing today is we do have 3 detention ponds that kind of run to the village, so those probably need to be looked at. Because when it comes to detention ponds or any types of systems, a big one is maintenance.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely something we'll look at, and that's what Ken is looking at.
Okay.
Capacity, detention ponds over the years, they lose the amount of capacity they can to store water. And so we'll look at that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And Mayor Crawford, Councilor Letterman, I did forward that video to Francisco already on Sunday, I believe, whatever day that was.
Thank you very much.
But I mean, we get the same question in other areas, that the state didn't have anything to do with, that it hadn't rained here like that. We've owned this property for 50 years. So we all know the answers to this, and, we're trying to fix things and as best we can, but we know everything can't be done. So go ahead.
And Francisco, just on another note, I know that Bohannon Houston, you've contracted with them to do a study there on 70, if you want to just kind of provide that information also.
So the village has been very proactive, especially, they know, really looking at the US 70-40 intersection. You're probably aware of the study that was conducted by Bohannon, and it really was tied to traffic flow, improving that type. Was the intent of the study. And so we're piggybacking as a DOT. We're working with Bohannon Houston, taking on additional task orders with them to really understand the drainage that's there in 70, because once that intersection is improved, of course, all the water is going that way. We're extending their study, parameters or zones to go all the way out up 70, almost towards the Mescaler line. And that way, if that progresses to a full construction project, it won't only be, for the traffic and re-signalization, all the changes that we need. It'll also be a drainage project to address all that water that's coming down 70.
Anything else? Do we have any updates from Mr. Boyle, Jonathan Boyle, the bridge engineer, on McDaniel Bridge? I know they came in, a week ago yesterday?
That's correct, Mayor Crawford, and I know he met with Adam and had a preliminary temporary design for that, and I know that we're looking at going through with a contractor to see what we can do, but I didn't know if Jonathan, if you saw his final recommendation on that.
No, I didn't get a chance to talk to Jonathan. Jonathan's very good at working with local communities, providing recommendations. I know his crew, our District 2 bridge crew, did do the work on, was it Malone Bridge?
Malone Bridge,
Yeah.
yes.
They did a great job, and those are always challenges for us. We love helping local communities, and even in this instance, but it's tough on resources as well. We ran into this a little bit up north in Mora. DOT really stepped in and did a lot of the local work, and it becomes, a balance between us and helping communities. Jonathan will be there for recommendations and continue to help. What happened in the Mora area, the DOT took on so much local work that the state infrastructure started to fail in their area because they were tasked with so much local work. And so, when we can, we're here to help. And we'll try to take on some local projects, but we can't. I hope you understand, it's not that we're neglecting you, we don't want to. It's the state highway system is our priority and my priority for the district.
So, Ron, on McDaniel, there's no timeline yet because we don't have
Well, we got a plan.
Mayor Crawford, Councilor Corey, Adam's going to give an update on that.
Okay, thank
We,
you.
we have some movement, and we hope to possibly, if we do get a proposal, is have a special meeting, so.
Okay.
Then we'll do a
Thank you.
self-performance type deal.
Okay.
Okay? Is there any other questions? Well, and you guys, I know, helped us tremendously during the floods that we had, especially over at Cherokee Mobile Home Park, helping get that out. I know the folks over there appreciate that. But I can't believe that they're not drilling him with any more questions. Well, we appreciate a lot of what you guys do. You've loaned us some stuff. I doubt we've got it back to you. On different things that we borrowed for traffic control or whatever during the floods and whatnot.
No, and we appreciate Mayor and Council, what you're doing in this community. I know it's frustrating. Flooding is so misunderstood. We for a lot of reason, people think because we're the end product where this water ends up, that we have the ultimate solution, and we don't. A lot of the solutions are outside our jurisdiction and outside our right-of-way. So hopefully, we do have, we'll look at the detention ponds, and then I think once we construct that Brady Canyon area with box culverts, that's in the works. I think that would alleviate a lot of issues where Adobe Plaza used to be. For us, as a DOT, that's our biggest worry.
Yeah.
If we lost 48 there, that pretty much is the only access in around town for everything. That is the main arterial. So I know you have a lot of sleepless nights, but we do too, because we are extremely worried about losing 48 right there.
Okay. All right, no more questions. We appreciate it. And
Thank you very much.
go Ruidoso for TPF funds. That's just a little lobby.
We have this recorded, so we just need him, he gave a head nod, so we have it.
That's where one of our funding sources that we request to redo roads or whatever, and so I know that's coming up for it, but we appreciate everything that you've done, and do you have any questions for us?
Just Mayor and Council, how can we do better? We're always looking to improve. I know, working with Ron, trying to, expedite the process, especially helping, you guys, I think you kind of summarized it really well, what you do, having staff ready when these floods are. We're more of a reactive agency, and so, we're based on call-outs, but just any improvements or suggestions you would like us to get better or help you as a community, really.
I've got one.
Go ahead.
Yes.
On Meacham, what about the sidewalks, you know, where they, like around Pioneer Bank, where they're like this, and it's hard for people to ride their bikes or even walk? I was just, is that something that DOT does? I mean, is that your job to do that?
Yes, it is. Anything between the right-of-way is it's the responsibility of the DOT. In the case with most sidewalks in municipalities, it falls under DOT. They're very difficult for us to maintain because the road's always a priority. We just need to, make it a focal point and try to get more sidewalk projects or more maintenance forces. And we did a small one, not necessarily small. I mean, it was $500,000 in Midtown. We just need to
Yes.
find more money and programming for that because unfortunately, that's a big, across all our municipalities, that's something we're really struggling with, broken sidewalks, and we haven't figured that one out, Councilman.
I have one more question, then I'll be quiet. On Ski Run Road,
Yes,
if you're going towards the mountain, on the left-hand side, there's condos
okay,
after the big RV park.
okay.
They're having terrible trouble with their culverts. Does the DOT do anything like that?
Specifically, Counselor, the culverts that are crossing the highway or,
No, it's going into their driveways. It's off of the road, but going into their property.
Off of
Is-
Ski Run Road,
Off of
right?
Ski Run Road.
532.
off I-32.
Yeah,
Access driveways are really interesting in the state highway system. Technically, the primary reason for a highway is to get to point A to B. So when people are accessing, even if it is within right of way, a lot of the maintenance responsibility falls on them because of the
Okay.
way their state access laws. And so a lot of that falls on them.
okay. Thank you very much. I
And your
appreciate it.
anti-donation and all that other stuff. And we do know that your budget with the fires and the floods that we had, that they pulled a lot of money. I know we spoke to Secretary Cerna every day and you, and so I know you pulled a lot out of your budget that was maintenance and stuff that you already said to put on us immediately. So we appreciate that. And I was hoping that the legislators would be a lot nicer to you on your new budget.
Yeah.
So we could get a lot more of this done. And we didn't understand that. If we're so rich and we have 3 point whatever to $4 billion in the black, why didn't the highway department get more money? But we'll lobby hard next time for you too, and hopefully we have more success.
Yeah, as more vocal our local communities can be, we really appreciate that. It was very shocking and concerning this legislation that we walked away with essentially $0 extra dollars in our budget, so.
But you get the call first. And we do appreciate when Ron and myself, when we call you, you do answer your phone. You're one of the few state officials that do. And so you
He
always.
answers 7 days a week.
Yeah, you do.
So-
And we appreciate you for being accountable. And are you staffed up fully?
Well, first, I appreciate the compliment, Mayor. Those thank yous go a long way in, making our jobs what they are. You don't get too many thank yous.
Well, we are trying to get TPF
Yeah, you
funds.
gotta try to get TPF. No, this is the first time, and I'm going on year 6 as district engineer, or actually 5, and never been fully staffed. When I first started, I was pretty much the only engineer in the building, and now we're fully staffed. So now I don't know what to do with my time, really, because I got really competent engineers. So my goal, I have 2 years before tenure finishes at District 2, and mainly focus on coming out to communities and really on the funding part too. I think we need to be a little bit more proactive and come together, and that's kind of where I'm transitioning my next role, since I am fully staffed now.
And Mary, he said 2 years. I don't know what he meant by 2 years.
I don't know what we just ignore that.
Yeah.
But, we're working hard to get staffed up and to be able to pay our people the proper amount of money that keeps them engaged. And so for you to be fully staffed, that says something right there. So we'll need to have to look, see what you guys are doing. So again, thank you very much
You're welcome.
for all that you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Francisco.
And it wasn't that many years ago when I was just a counselor and I'd go over to District 2, they wouldn't even let us in the door. They wouldn't, much less come see us. We're going to do presentation of new employees. I mean, this is awesome. We got over a half a page here. And so if we can, if you'll stand up, and we're not trying to embarrass anybody, but we're just proud to have you here. Jamie Reyes, Water Production, wave. Attaboy. Water Distribution Maintenance Tech. Thank you very much, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie.
Cheryl Rushing.
Yay.
Cheryl Rushing is in the police department. She's one of our dispatchers, 911 telecommunications operator. Thank you very much. Congratulations. You've been working hard. That's a great high-tech looking place over there that we've been able to put in. Hopefully you enjoy it. Jay Gutierrez. Hello, Jay. It's good to see you again. PD, non-certified patrol officer, and you should be going pretty soon, huh? Yeah, excellent. Huh? This is pretty quick, isn't it? Well, we're glad to have you. So he'll be going to the academy, getting training and everything here pretty quick. So we're glad to have you. Brian
Welcome.
Parker, Community Development, Short-Term Rental. Hello, Brian.
Brian?
You're going to get to be pretty popular. We talked about you before we even knew you, so we're glad to have you, Brian. Layson Powell. Layson Powell is with the fire department firefighter. It's good to have you. You've joined a great crew.
Welcome.
I get to see every now and then. I don't like going and watching, but it's quite a show when the fire department's in action. Like when we were up, what was the name of that? Flume Canyon. To see how you guys were tearing that up and getting in there. It was very coordinated. It looked like chaos. I see the guy in charge. That it was just a smooth operation, and what could have been, could have got out of hand real quick. You guys took care of it. It was amazing. Sebastian Mitchell, Parks and Rec. Hello, Sebastian.
Welcome.
It's good to see you. And hopefully you got a good crew there. I know right now every weekend you guys have something. The grass is turning green, so now we know what that means. Mowing it, but we're glad to have you and hopefully you enjoy your work here. Rufus Sago. Hello, Rufus, in Parks and Rec Department also, maintenance. Good to have you, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Manuel Huber, Parks and Rec. Manuel, thank you for coming. Thanks for hiring on. We appreciate you guys. What is you giving away something, Matthew? Where's Matthew?
Church, he's over there.
What are you doing? Well, I'm telling you, I'm glad we got some guys. This is awesome. And Michael Weiss.
Oh.
Hello, Michael, Parks and Rec.
Hi.
My son-in-law may be related to you. We'll have to find out later. Glad to have all you guys. It's a good department, a lot of work, a lot of responsibility. Makes everything go around pretty quick, and I know all of our tourists and our locals appreciate it. Isaiah, is it Spitty or Spidey? Spitty? Hello, Isaiah. Forestry and Fuels.
Way to go.
Thank you very much. That's becoming more and more important with us dealing with insurance. Not to mention mitigation and hardening of the homes, but insurance is a big deal. Dustin Archer. Hello, Dustin.
Dustin.
Nice to see you. I think I met you before. The face like yours and mine, well, surely we'd remember that. We're glad to have you in forestry, big department. Michael Smith, Water Distribution. Hello, Michael. Thank you. Well, congratulations, everybody. I know the managers and the department directors are very tickled, and if we could just get... Now we can just get Adam some folks, and the PD a few more folks. All right. We have a promotion, solid waste operator, driver, supervisor, Ezekiel Alvarez. Ezekiel here? Yeah. Attaboy, Ezekiel. He's coming through, and I know I talked to Jerry today. They're shorthanded over there too. So I thank you very much for staying with it and doing what you do. You guys always come through for us. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
And then we have a retirement plaque. Is Jamie Newsom here? He's off today? Okay. Well, we have a nice plaque, and we're so glad that he could make it in to pick it up.
Yes.
So I'm going to write some really good stuff on here. But Jamie was with the Water Distribution Sewer Collection, and finished up as an inspector from August 2000 to July 2025. So congratulations to Jamie, getting to move on to the next phase of his life. Then we want to go ahead, do you want to take this one? The beautiful, from the Ruidoso Valley Chamber of Commerce, they had a banquet, and they awarded a 2025 Beautification Award to the Wingfield Heritage House Museum. So is Stephanie here?
Yes.
Hello, Stephanie. Come on up and collect another one. Stephanie was also awarded, well, you tell us, I can't remember what it was, another award just last month.
Hi.
Thank you, guys.
Go right ahead.
Hi.
So tell us what the award was you won last month.
Oh, so it's been a great month for the museum. We won 2 awards. The national award that we won was from the National Association of State and Local History.
Hey, don't worry, there's millions around the world listening.
And bye, everybody. And we won Award of Excellence for our radio program, Ruidoso Rewind. So
Excellent, which is on 1490 and 99.1.
that's right.
And so here's your 2025 Beautification Award. Hopefully
pretty
you've
cool.
got a special place for that. Thank you. Stephanie does a great job. That was just a dream that we all had, that we could talk about Ruidoso's past, and really before Ruidoso was here, where we're at now and where we're going. So many of us moved here, but it's hard to figure out, how do you fit in when everybody's been here for generations, you know? And so this gives even those that have been here for generations a little bit of history lesson, because a lot of those folks didn't even know the history. And so this is turning out to be a great little project that has a lot of legs to it, and we're looking forward to expanding. We'll go on to the presentation of the Integrated Resource Plan for Zia Natural Gas. And we have several other Zia Natural Gas folks here, so do you want to introduce them?
I would, yeah. You want me to come up here and present?
Yes, ma'am, right there, and if that button's not green, just touch it.
It is. Can you hear me all
I
right?
can hear you good.
All right. Yeah, so thank you for, Mayor Crawford, counselors, thank you so much. I'm going to talk with my hands, so I'll probably hit that microphone 3 times. Thank you for inviting us and allowing us to come present to you today about our integrated resource plan. With me today, I have our new district manager, Raymond Sandy. He's involved in this Lincoln County District and all of the things that Zia Natural Gas does, from daily operations, construction, to customer service. And so he's very involved and is looking forward to getting to know the city or village staff and working well with you, hopefully with the road department,
Yes.
water and sewer department, so we can keep our utilities going. Next to him is Crystal Fuentes. I think
Hi,
many of you
Crystal.
know
Everybody knows
Crystal.
Crystal?
Yes. Crystal is our business development manager, but she's recently also stepped into the shoes of our office manager here in Ruidoso.
Oh, nice.
Is going to be doing that role for the next year, kind of learning about Zia Natural Gas. She's recently moved over from the racetrack, and we are so happy to have her. We enjoy working with her. And then somewhere in the back,
He left.
oh, well, never mind. We had Wes Hacker here, and he's our utility operations manager. He was our district manager and is our engineer, so does a lot of the design work and has been very involved in all of our response last year with the fires and floods.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so thank you so much for inviting us here. I will try and make this quick. This is a regulatory requirement for us. Were you able to get the presentation up and running? Anyway, we have a regulatory requirement to look at and develop an integrated resource plan. We look at this every 4 years. Part of that process is public advisory, which is why I'm here today. An integrated resource plan is looking at where are we getting our natural gas and how much natural gas do we need? It'd be kind of like 5-10-year planning for your water system, making sure that we have the needs, that we're meeting the needs for the communities we serve. Okay, go ahead, maybe 2 slides. Yeah, yes, please. Oh, there we go. And so today I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is, talk about our system a little bit, evaluating our supply and demand resources, kind of looking at what we might need additional resources and the options for those additional resources, and then wrap it up with our energy efficiency program. Next slide, please. So I'm going to ahead and put this from our rule, integrated resource plan. It's to identify the most cost-effective portfolio of resources to supply the existing and future energy needs for our customers. Integrated resource plans were really developed for electric utilities, more so than gas utilities, but like they often do in regulation, they put "and gas" right at the end, and then they vote, and we all go, oh, okay. And so a lot of times you'll see an integrated resource plan for electric utilities. They're looking at their mix of solar, wind, natural gas generation, nuclear, hydro, electric, all their different sources of electricity, and then also balancing how much people are using peak as well as overall usage. It's a similar thing for natural gas with fewer options for where we get the natural gas. Next slide, please. So some of the requirements is, again, like I said, to file every 4 years. I'm usually looking at a planning period of 4 to 10 years. A key part of it is the public advisory process, where I can meet with people in different communities that we serve, mainly looking for input on additional resources that might be needed, anything that you know, big projects that are coming in that we might need natural gas for, and to make sure that we're planned and we have our pipelines ready to go for that. And then we finalize this, we wrap this up by filing with the commission. And again, we are regulated by the Public Regulation Commission, so it does become a process if someone's very interested. Again, electric utilities get a lot of interest on their mix on all of the renewable resources. We don't usually get quite as much interest in our IRP, but
Well,
it's
we
out
did
there.
have you at 603 Meacham, the gas that you guys are putting in over there, and I think they're at, well, I don't remember the address, at the apartment complex. Is he bringing in gas there? No?
No, I need to meet with you about that. No, but I do know that we're working with your crews to make sure that the utility lines are out of the way as you develop that lot and other work that you're doing at that lot. Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay, next slide, right here, this is good. The final product will be an integrated resource plan report, and that's available to the public as well, figuring out where we're getting our natural gas from, how much we anticipate as far as load and demands over the next 5 to 10 years. A resource for our villages if they need to include all of their utilities in some planning processes. Next slide.
Question,
Yes,
Leslie?
yes, please.
How do you engage the public in that portion of the plan?
Mayor, Council, that's an excellent question. Very first time I did an integrated resource plan, we published notice of a meeting for public input, set aside a place, had cookies available. The lady who was like the manager of the place ate the cookies, and I told her about integrated resource plans, and that was the sum total of public input. So we did change our process, and so I really appreciate you allowing me to present, because I do think getting to our council's commissions, I'm presenting next week at the Lincoln County Commission meeting, is the best way to at least get the information out. Maybe we can't have as much interaction or question and answer, but at least the councils and commissions can point me to the right person, maybe the planning manager, maybe the engineer who's got a plan in mind, maybe a developer who's come to them recently and said, we really need gas here. And so I have started to try and utilize these kind of meetings just to get a little more information out about what's going on and get my contact information out, so maybe even after the fact someone can, give us a shout and say, hey, we need gas here.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. The process, and I just talked about it, it starts with this public advisory process, but then we internally also look at the supply in our pipelines, mathematically calculate the supply in our pipelines. We look at any additional planning processes through the different service areas, any expected future development subdivisions, anything maybe that's going away. Sometimes industries move out, and some industries can have a major impact on the community, so we also review that. And then we coordinated a little bit with our energy efficiency program. I do believe on the natural gas side, we're still so weather dependent, but energy efficiency and people putting in more efficient appliances, better, more efficient use of hot water does affect their energy needs, and so hopefully we can most effectively use natural gas in the homes. Okay, next slide. So let me talk just a little bit about our system overall. Zia Natural Gas Company serves approximately 39,500 customers here in New Mexico, sell approximately 3.8 BCF of gas annually. We operate.
Excuse me, BCF. What's that acronym?
Yeah, that's a billion cubic feet. Your bill, you're probably seeing a CCF, that's 100 cubic feet, and so you can do the math out. But overall, we sell about 3.8 BCF.
Okay, thank you.
I'll mess up the zeros if I try to convert that to CCF right here while I have a microphone in front of me. Anyway, and then we operate distribution lines in Lee, Eddy, Lincoln, Colfax, and Donna Ana counties. We also have about 24 customers in Texas, just across the state line from Texas, or from Hobbs. And then we have transmission lines here in Lincoln County and up in Colfax County. Next slide.
What does that mean? What does a transition line mean?
Oh, a transmission line is just a bigger line. So it's bigger,
okay.
it's running at a higher pressure. And so there's a few regulations within the PHMSA, the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, that classify distribution versus transmission. So a lot of times transmission's taking it from point A to point B at a pretty high pressure. Distribution, you're gonna find in all your streets and alleys.
Could you go ahead and explain a little more about how you get your gathering system, how you send it to the processing plant, where you get your gas?
Yeah, all of our gas is coming off the interstate transmission lines, and so you'll have the big transmission lines taking from Permian Basin to California, El Paso, now Kinder Morgan. We've got a tap off of those transmission lines. Upstream of that, of course, you've got production, you've got gathering systems. You'll have your gas plants that drop out all your natural gas liquids, your heavier ends, and then we're selling all of our customers what they call the residue or residual gas, and so mostly methane. And that goes into those interstate transmission lines and goes both directions across the whole United States.
Because you remember when you were a kid, you could boil water like that, and they strip out all the things, and then they sell mainly methane now, and they make clothes out of the rest of it and everything else in the world.
Yeah, that's true. In Malaga, you can probably still boil water like that.
Yeah,
A little
'cause
higher
they're-
BTU content gas over there. Anyway, yeah, and that's where we're getting the natural gas, is mostly those interstate transmission lines, and that's good, clean, solid, steady BTU gas, and so been processed. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a sad slide. I'm sure you guys have also looked at some of this stuff. This is our customers in Lincoln County, and you can definitely see the impact of the fires last summer, fires and floods, on our customer count, and it's the story across the board for all of us in water customers, telephone, electric, as we lost some homes, both due to the fire. I think the fire impact was about 753 customers for Zia, and then another maybe 85.
Yeah.
Again, checking my math on the flooding. The flooding's been harder to assess, that's for sure, and it's been a challenge to deal with. The fire is scary, terrifying, but once it's over, you go through and you assess and figure out how to fix, and this flooding is ongoing and it's been a challenge. I think some of the things that I'm hoping that our crew and Raymond and Ron and his crew will be able to work on is, when it comes to flooding, and this is a complete aside from my program right now, is even something we saw this morning as we start to see exposed lines due to all of this flooding, and how best to work with the city crews for the roads department as well as water and sewer, to make sure that we're all coordinating our efforts and trying to keep the utilities going, keep it safe for customers, and get things back under the ground where they belong. Yeah. Anyway, okay, next slide. The next slide's gonna be our sales volume. This is an annualized sales volume, so it's just running, I add 12 months together, and so really just now starting to see the impact on the sales volume here at the very end of that slide. Of course, there's gonna be a little bit of loss in sales volume. Again, as a gas utility, we're so dependent on what kind of winter we have, and so very weather dependent. Over 90% residential customers, and so residential customers are using this for heating, little base load in cooking and water heating, but primarily heating in the winter. And so that's kind of an impact on our sales volume. Also showing that with the loss of customers, corresponding loss of sales volumes, I do anticipate that our pipelines, our distribution systems are actually very adequate to handle gas service for the next 5 to 10 years here in Lincoln County. We just freed up some pipe space, unfortunately, so. Next slide, please. And then the source, and you had asked about this. The source of natural gas in Lincoln County is actually out north of town, Kinder Morgan line, way up at the north end of Lincoln County. We come down what's commonly called Bogle Road. Got an 8-inch and a 4-inch transmission line that come down that road to serve this southern part of Lincoln County. And anticipate operating those pipelines for many years. And the overall capacity of those pipelines is over 20,000 MCF a day. I think we've peaked here in this district at about 12,000 MCF a day, so I do anticipate having plenty of capacity on that pipeline to continue to serve Lincoln County. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. And I already said that, but yeah, I do anticipate having plenty of capacity in this area. Next slide. So one of the things that I'm looking for public input on, and it may be now if you have some suggestions, or reach out to me later if you have something that you know is going on, but projects that may need natural gas, loss of demand of gas, loss of some kind of business or industry that may be leaving, any projected housing growth in Lincoln County, or a resource for something that's already been done as a study for projected housing growth. And then any economic factors that are affecting Lincoln County that we might need to take into account as we're anticipating the gas needs. Next slide. And I have a conclusion right in the middle of my presentation, but basically I do believe we have sufficient capacity for projected growth here in Lincoln County. And again, I'm looking for any input. Some of the interesting input that we've received in other parts of the state, and Wes, who's not here, but he's, oh, did he come back?
Yeah.
There he is. Hi, Wes, sorry. And Wes Hacker, our utility operations manager. Anyway, he's been pushing really hard to move a data center here. No takers yet, but he's working on it. We've had several requests for data centers. They use a huge amount of gas, very large amount of gas. And so far, we've had to look at them and say, I'm sorry, our lines are not designed for your needs. I often refer them also to the Permian Basin, that I know there's a lot of production in that area and not as many pipelines to take it out. But it's been interesting, the needs that are coming through on AI and data centers and electrical needs. Okay, next slide, please. And so just quickly, reviewing through, do I have another slide? Oh, there we go. Okay, just quickly, some of their other resource options, and some gas utilities are looking at this, is biomass, dairy-based biogas, hydrogen. I know New Mexico Gas Company has a hydrogen test going on right now up in Albuquerque where they inject a percentage, I think it's 10% hydrogen into the natural gas as just a different resource for energy for homes. We've looked at these, but few are feasible for the size of systems that we have. And so we will continue to research, keep an eye on what's going on in the natural gas industry and options for the natural gas industry. But again, it's hard to try and do a test in our smaller systems. Next slide, please. Some of the things that we consider on that, of course, is the expense to get those started up, availability of those, and then quality. And especially in the dairy-based biogas, I have some concerns over particulates and quality of natural gas as far as BTU content as well. So we'll keep watching that technology and see if there's some options. And next slide, please. I'm going to skip through two because we've talked about it and just quickly talk about our energy efficiency program. So next slide, please. So the purpose of our energy efficiency program is to affect the demand side of our integrated resource plan by reducing natural gas consumption. And I'd like to think about it as using it more efficiently. As a business owner, I want to sell more, but we want to use it as efficiently as possible within the homes. And so we promote energy efficiency and working to reduce customer consumption by using it more efficiently in the home. We promote increased use of high-efficient appliances. And then we also promote using the higher efficiency natural gas appliances instead of burning 3 times as much in the power plant. Net effect on the home is the overall reduction of the utility bill, and that helps everyone. Next slide, please. I'm particularly proud of this slide because I recently went to a Texas Tech orientation where they had a QR code on every slide, and we finally figured out how to do a QR code. So I got a QR code. If you click on that, it's supposed to bring up our energy efficiency website. So
Congratulations.
thank you very much. Next time I'm going to see if I can do a QR code that looks like a barbecue grill, grilling steaks. Just kidding. Okay. Anyway, what we do have though, as far as our energy efficiency program, and I'd just like to get this information out to everyone, is we do have rebates for upgrading to higher efficient natural gas appliances, both in space heating and water heating. We have rebates for insulation. We have rebates if you install programmable or smart thermostats. So be sure, if you're thinking about that anyway, be sure to look it up. It's a few dollars, but who couldn't use a few dollars? Maybe it'll help for dinner one night or going out for a little extra shopping. Same thing with water heating. We also have what we call water conservation package. That's a free packet. It's just a low flow shower head and a couple of faucet aerators low flow faucet aerators that just help save hot water, which in turn saves natural gas, saves energy used. Construction, we do have rebates available for constructing new homes with higher efficient appliances, and that may become very important as we start rebuilding in some of these areas that have been impacted by fire and floods. And so, again, if you hear of somebody doing that, be sure to have them check out. Most utilities now do have energy efficiency programs, so both natural gas and electric will have different rebates for putting in higher efficient appliances. We do have an income qualified program and a commercial program that are both being managed by a contractor we work with, Clear Result. And they've been working with MFA and also working with multifamily housing to try and improve efficiency for those who are income qualified. So it's 200% of the poverty level and down can get special rebates. A lot of their rebates are direct install, so it's no cost to the customer. Clear Result will come in and directly install these different energy saving options for the customer. Commercial, they've been having great success, and I didn't realize how much energy loss there was through the overhead door weather stripping. And so they will come in, if you've got a big overhead door at your facility, they'll come in and install weather stripping on that and help you save a little bit of heating costs within your shop. Anyway, next slide. And that's it. I would stand for any questions if you have any other questions for us. Otherwise, I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you, Leslie.
Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to say real quick if I could.
Go right
Just,
ahead.
It was a month or two ago, and they were boring in our neighborhood for the fiber, and the gas got hit. It was after hours that I came home and realized the gas was out. I got the on-call, and he was there within about 12 minutes, and really was just super nice and helped and hooked up and all that. So I just want to pass that compliment on for your staff.
Commissioner, I appreciate that, and I will pass that along to our staff as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know you love that, Ray, when you get that call. So does Adam, no matter where we're marked or whatever. So thank you very much, Leslie.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Now we have the chief. You want to come on up and do the presentation of the Ultimate speed cameras? And do we have Sam Crawley?
Online.
And this is in response to all the complaints, all the requests that we're getting, speeders around town, speed bumps, speed humps. We've done all of those things, and we just need a better way to enforce it. So this is our answer.
So in response to a lot of the issues that we've had in complaints regarding speeders, this was one option that we started to look into. And Mr. Crowley from Ultimate is on to present, basically give you a better detailed description of what it was that I had presented last week as far as their operations go and how the system works.
Okay?
Hello, and will you guys call up the presentation, or should I just share mine and drive it?
Yeah, if you can share it, that'd be great.
All right, perfect. Excellent. While I'm doing that, I would like to thank the village and everyone for taking the time to allow me to present this. And I commend you for taking some time to learn a little bit more about this technology. What have I done here? Maybe I shouldn't talk while I'm using technology as the guy that works for a technology company. Apparently I clicked the wrong button. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Perfect. I'm going to go to a larger screen And what my goal here is today is to just give you a high-level overview of what a program looks like, and more importantly, what a partnership with Ultimate would look like for the village overall. And of course, answer any questions that may come up as I'm going through this high-level review. So with that, I do want to lead off just by giving a couple highlights out of the enabling legislation. So these programs are allowable in the village based on HB 22 of the 56th legislature with the state, and they have a couple parameters that are defined in this law. First being enforcement must be from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on school days only for these systems that are enforcing within the school zones. The second piece is pretty crucial, because a lot of folks may see this and like, hey, we don't want to outsource policing. That's not what these programs are. The police department will still review and issue every citation or violation. It's not us doing it. It's still the police department doing it. These are civil violations, so there's no points against licenses, no insurance cost increase to hit the violators. Enforcement based on this law can begin at 5+ miles per hour over the speed limit. What that would typically mean if we went with that trigger speed with the program is at 6 miles per hour over a limit, a citation would be issued to a vehicle traveling through the school zone. And another very important part of the law here in New Mexico, the village has the ability to adopt an ordinance, if you choose, that can further clarify these program details and specialize it for the village. So you have a lot of leeway in what your program looks like. It's not, hey, this is the way it has to be. I would never tell you how it has to be, and the way the law is set up, you have a lot of ability to come in and truly customize your program for your community. So I also wanted to highlight, we are currently in a partnership with Bernalillo County. This is important for numerous reasons, but perhaps the most important, when you look at a partnership between the village and Ultimate, it's crucial to have local resources already on the ground and an experienced partner in New Mexico that understands the lay of the land and what needs to be done to put a successful program in place in your community. I did want to highlight some of the details of Bernalillo's program itself as well. So we were awarded this partnership through a competitive RFP process with Bernalillo. As of now, they have an overall 18 camera program. We began live enforcement in September of 2024. They do utilize one of the transportable units, is what we would refer to it as, whether it be a trailer or one of the transportable box units is the best way to describe it, meaning they can enforce in a zone for a month, and if they're experiencing issues in another zone, we can move that unit. You can move it once a month and enforce in multiple spots with one unit. And definitely a very important statistic out of their program. In the first 6 months, they've had speed reductions in some zones as high as 73%. And that's just with 6 months of a program being active. What we like to see overall, and what we typically see where these programs are put in, you have 90% of your speeders will no longer speed where these enforcement systems are in place. But in just 6 months of going live with the first camera, Bernalillo already has a zone that's coming as high as 73% reduction just in those first 6 months. Next up, I do want to highlight the public awareness, the public information and education piece of a partnership is what we refer to it as. This component of a program is just as important as any technology, any citations, any fines. It is equal, if not more, for an importance to make a program successful. So the best way to put it is we will partner with the village. We'll work with you, put together a very elaborate public information campaign that we can assist with media relations and everything across the board to make sure every citizen of the village and anyone in the general area, nobody's surprised when the system's put in place. That's not what these programs are about. They're not about saying, hey, surprise, you sped through the same place you always speed. Now there's a camera giving you a ticket. There will be heavy signage alerting folks to the fact these systems are here. And then this program will also complement that process. We are extremely experienced at working with both media markets and working with our partners to get this messaging out by whatever and however our partners prefer. And it's kind of at the end of the day, we enter a partnership. It's going to be up to the village how much you'd like us to do to get that out there. But we'd all work together to make sure every person in the village is aware, hey, this date, these cameras are going to go live, and no one's surprised if they drive through that zone and get a ticket. Just to review some key components that I think would be important to both you guys and all the citizens of the village. Our programs are guaranteed to have no taxpayer cost. What that means is they're violator funded. So the village and taxpayers will not be receiving an invoice to pay to have this program put in place. We charge no upfront costs. There's no equipment you buy or lease. There's no construction cost, and we even pay the power bill. So we'll work with the local power company and pay the power bill for whatever power, if power is used by any of our systems in the program. Even if we put our system in place, which would be a great success story, unfortunately, we haven't invented a technology that eliminates speeding. We've only invented technology that can cut that down to cut 90% of your speeders out. But if we were to accomplish the ultimate goal and we get those violations to zero, even if it's on day one, you never owe Ultimate a dime for this program. So, and that's all guaranteed in the contract. There's additionally no fee to terminate our contract. We truly believe in our program and our customer service, even for the folks that are receiving, if someone receives a violation. And we think because of our competitive price, superior service, and just how we partner with our partners, you won't want to leave us. So we put pretty clearly in the contract, if you decide, hey, this program isn't for us anymore, with 30 days written notice, you can actually terminate for convenience with no penalty. So there's no fees, nothing hidden. You can walk away at any point if you decide the program is no longer a fit for the village. Another thing, at the outset of these programs, it's pretty important, and we like to conduct a speed study. What that means is, hey, we want to look at enforcing in this zone. So we would actually get a benchmark, if you will. How many people are speeding through this school zone from 7 to 5 p.m. on school days? We do cover the cost at no obligation on this speed study when you're ready to take that step. Another key piece to how we do this, it's very common with automated enforcement companies that I would say, hey, I'm going to put one of my systems out there to tell you how many people are speeding through your school zone. We don't do that. So what I'll do is bring in an independent third party to conduct that speed study. I think this increases the integrity of those results. If you think about it, me saying, hey, I'll conduct a speed study and then show you how great I am at slowing speeders down, it leaves a little bit of error, a little bit of room for conflict of interest. When a third party does it, they go conduct the study, they hand the data back to me and to the village, and I'm not involved. So that's something we do a little bit different than some others that provide these services. Additionally, we do all of our own work. So Ultimate is American owned and operated. We're actually based out of Maryland, Lanham, Maryland, on the East Coast. But we operate in 11 states, including New Mexico at present. We truly believe in owning our own responsibility. If you make a phone call to Ultimate, you're going to speak with an Ultimate employee. Nothing is outsourced on our customer service, on our processing, on any piece of your program, or we will be farming out that part of the program to another company. The one exception, many times we will work with local contractors for standing the system up. And the reason we make that exception is we feel like it's actually a good thing to have local businesses be able to take part in standing up the program where it makes sense for our partners. Also, we design, develop, manufacture, and operate all of our equipment here in the U.S. We already have a warehouse storage area in New Mexico where we would keep spare components for the systems. And this is obviously pretty important because when you enter a program, if hardware has an issue that you need to replace with additional hardware, you don't have time to wait for it to come from Germany or even Canada, wherever it may be, and be shipped. It comes in very handy to have that hardware local and be able to bring it in and immediately fix the system and get it back up and running when and if something does occur. So just getting into some of the key pieces of a program itself. One thing we've been doing since day one, and we're actually one of the first to do in the industry, the first to do it in the most recent states to put a law in place allowing for automated enforcement. And that is we do include an ALPR, which is an automated license plate reader, with each of our cameras. We do this because we're committed to increasing safety in the village. And this is an excellent way to complement the program that's going to be slowing down speeders. This actually gives the police department an ability to further enforce with crimes that aren't speeding and just stay on top of different things going on in the general area. And these are included at no additional cost. And another key piece of this part of this part of a program, you don't have to put them where our cameras are. So some speed cameras will say, hey, we can be an ALPR as well. In our case, you can actually put the ALPR somewhere else if you choose, and then our camera's in place. And if the PD ever needs, they can go back and pull video for incidental investigations if something happens in the view of the camera. But it gives you a flexibility with your ALPR at no additional cost. So what does a program look like and how does it work? We're starting here at after the violation is captured. So we're going to have the technology at the roadside. A car speeds through the zone. The technology is going to capture that vehicle speeding. Once that violation is captured, it's going to be securely transferred to our processing center. The step right before that, we actually have an AI event processing stage just before that transfer. And all that means is our system will weed out anything that wasn't an actual violation. It'll pull out those before they're sent to us. Then we're going to have 2 human beings review it before it is sent over to the police department for their review. This is important because we pride ourselves on being a turnkey program and partner that complements and is a force multiplier for your police department, not one more thing they have to do that pulls them out of doing the many, many important things they do on a day-to-day basis. So having that AI and then 2 human beings review this means when the police officer logs into the system and he's going into approve, he or she goes into approve, they're only going to be seeing actual violations, which keeps that process very quick for them, making it a force multiplier instead of just another thing they have to do. Once law enforcement reviews the violation, a citation will be sent out. We handle all of that, so we will print and mail the citation. When a violator receives their citation, they're going to have all the information they need to be guided to the violator portal where they can see video and still shots and all the evidence against them for speeding through the school zone. At that point, they can pay or they can choose to refute the violation, and we'll work with you guys to put a process in place for that. If they pay, it'll move into the financial reporting system. Our reporting system, all contained within the same backend where the police department will be reviewing, is also going to show where each violation is in the process. It'll have data all the way down to if that violator has reached out to the customer service department. All of that will be time-stamped and kept track of within the file for that violation, which all feeds into our mobile court terminal for those that do decide they'd like to challenge the ticket. Our mobile court terminal does not have to be connected to the internet to be used. Typically, what our partners will do is set this up with maybe 1 day a month. We will have a dedicated account manager that will come out and be with the village and go to court and help set this whole process up. This is not something we expect you to do without our assistance. And that mobile court terminal will actually allow for full downloadable evidence packages for all of those that are challenging citation on any given court day. You'll be able to download those evidence packages and take them in with you. We can download them, print them for you. We're pretty hands-on and pretty flexible about doing any heavy lifting that makes it easier for you guys. So in addition to all of that, you're going to have access to extensive data and reporting, whether it be traffic counts, overall speeds traveling through the zone. You're going to be able to constantly go in self-service or request to your account manager to get reporting and data compiled for each of these zones where you do have a camera enforcing. And the last thing I did want to give you guys a look at here is what the police review screen looks like. and not to, keep coming back to that, but it's so important that this program is a force multiplier for the police department and not a time suck that's taking way too much of their time. This is just an example of what an officer will see when they're reviewing a citation. As you see the 6 boxes here, you have a video, and then you have a close plate crop of the actual license plate of the violator. And then you'll have the images demonstrating time over distance. So giving you that secondary validation that the car was indeed speeding through the zone. Additionally, right at the top, they'll have all of the information they would need to quickly check off and make sure it all adds up and approve to where it could begin its path through the process and be mailed out to the violator. So that is a very high level view of a program. At this point, I'd love to open it up for questions. If anybody has a question, I can answer any questions you may have.
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Sure.
Thanks for the presentation, appreciate it. The concern I have, we are a tourist community, and it says here that it's only in operation from 7 to 5. So weekends, there's nothing, no holidays, summertime. So to me, it looks like this is only for residents.
It was, that meant that if you put it in a school zone, you could only do it Monday through Friday for those times. You can put it anywhere you want for any.
All the time.
All the time. That just meant
Okay.
in a school zone.
Oh, okay, I see.
Correct. You have the 24/7. I'm sorry, my presentation probably could have been clearer on that. Yeah, so the school zone, that's specific to the school zone, which is the newest, one of the newer laws that was put in.
Oh, okay.
That's for school zone safety, but the law that was in existence allows for you to put them in other areas as well, 24/7.
Mayor,
Yes.
question and comment. Can you provide the chief with a list of some of your current clients, and more importantly, for me at least, is provide information on any municipalities that signed up for this and subsequently terminated it?
Sure. So I can tell you right now, us here at Ultimate, we have not had anyone terminate for convenience. We have had folks have a program for 5 years and decide, hey, we did it for the 5 years and everybody's slowed down. I believe we have 1 or 2 that may have done that, but I can look into the actual details on that. And I can absolutely get the chief contact information for our current partners, both in the immediate area, like in New Mexico and in Colorado, and also some of our others throughout the U.S.
Okay, thank you. Chief, my personal skepticism of this set aside, I'm curious what traffic areas would, at the.
Can I catch this one? I don't want to interrupt this question. The ones we're always talking about, the ones that we're hitting him up every meeting, every radio show. White Mountain, we just had calls on that one. We've got it on Junction and school zones all the time. A lot of the streets are out over here that are all downhill. When people start in the morning, it's 20 miles an hour. And then there are additional signs that can be put up. It's free. What I want to know is how you calibrate them and all that. But go ahead in any other areas that you can think of, Chief.
So the initial thought is that we were going to go with the mobile cameras so that we would have the ability to move them around. So we get a report, say, on Junction. And if possible, because we get 1 move per month per camera, and I don't know, and working with Sam, if that's an option, is to offset those by 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, we could actually typically move a camera. If not, we would have, once a month, we can move it to another problem area. So this month, we focus on Junction. Next month, if White Mountain starts to be the issue or continues to be the issue, we can then move it into that area to include the school zone if we put it there, and have that ability. Looking forward, there is always the option of putting the stationary cameras in if we wanted to focus on the north end of 48 coming into town or on Highway 70 as they come into town on that side as well. So, but the initial focus was to look at the mobile cameras so that we'd have the ability to do that.
Okay. And Ron, we had talked briefly last week about the procurement issues, so you'll get that ironed out.
Mayor Crawford, Councilor Corey, I believe we're going to have to adopt an ordinance and with new penalty assessments and plus the program, and we'll look into all that. I spoke to the former clerk, city clerk for Rio Rancho, and they did a RFP for that, for this process.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you calibrate these things and just your enforcement? And you said in your presentation, if they pay, what do you mean by that?
Meaning if they pay right away. So the majority of violators just go on to the site and pay immediately. It's actually 1% to less the challenge in these programs around the nation. The most common outcome when they go on is to just pay. You know, they get the violation, they're like, oh, I was speeding, I know that, and they pay.
And so how much are the fines generally? When I asked the mayor, Bernalino, and the county, I think he said it was, I can't remember if he said $25 or $55.
So there's flexibility. It can be $100 per citation. But as I was stating, when you guys put together when you adopt your ordinance, you'll have some flexibility on what you want the fine to be.
And that's how you make your money. What,
$25 goes to him.
just $25 of that goes to you?
That's how we're set up with Bernalillo County. So Bernalillo County, 25 per paid violation goes to us.
So Mayor, what was the noise we heard from Judge Potter about the state clamping down on fines and penalties?
Well, that was through legislation that they were from the Administrative Office of Courts that was trying to, that not to enforce the criminals, that poor people can't pay fines and all that. So that's all done. So we're looking at actually going back on with our police department and other fines that are as cheap as $15. So there's no reason to even adhere to the law. So we're going to have to go back in our ordinance anyway and change some of that, Chief. Go ahead.
So, yes, with that, this system would have its own, however those fees are set up in the ordinance.
Different.
But we independently are going back with our own ordinances as far as speeding. So if an officer actually stops somebody, that's going to have its own fee associated with that. We'll revisit what the state took away from the courts and our fees for penalties.
A lot of that came from the municipal league.
You're right.
We were working on other legislation at the time. And so that was kind of like, don't mess with the system, and AOC let us down again on it.
So, Chief, if it goes via an ordinance, then it's going to be subject to public input.
So I believe, yes, if we have to enact ordinance, we'll have to do public input.
Yes. And what you're going to get is, I've got lists of calls, they've got lists of calls, Gina's got lists of calls. It's weekly for sure, and it's not always in the summertime. It's usually when school starts up over here, the people over there, they've been in here in city and village council meetings before. I've got people calling me off a junction, multiple homes, that people are just racing through there. We get it in Midtown every now and then. All of these things, and we don't have an officer right there. Now, I have seen our officers writing a lot of tickets right out of Midtown. I've seen state police that have been writing tickets. But it's just one of those things we can't do it and keep up with it. And now we're getting request after request for more speed bumps. So unless we want to be a community of Hump City, we need to do something. And so this is a perfect opportunity.
And Mayor Crawford, Councilor Corey, and just as the chief stated, it was $29 that was removed, that the village no longer can assess, $20 with a correction fee. But the $9 it was just a flow through. It would be on the ticket and it'd be submitted directly to the Santa Fe, to the administrative office of the courts.
Okay.
So
as an aside, the chief spoke to the Rotary Club last week, and I'd asked him to bring this up, and I don't know if you heard the groans I heard from the crowd.
I certainly did. And I know the skepticism from the public generally this is just one of those systems that's out, kind of like Mr. Crowley said, it's not a gotcha system. There's lots of information that goes out. There's lots of signage. By law, they have to put signage up saying that you are entering a speed camera location. So it's, if you do that, it's not that you didn't know that it was there. The second part of that is, like we said, last time too, is this is a civil penalty. If you don't pay that, and I think Mr. Crowley can correct me if I'm wrong, it goes straight to collections. It's not has no points on your license. It doesn't affect your insurance rates. It's a monetary penalty, basically, is what it is.
And we can start giving those Rotarians the phone numbers, or their phone numbers out. Because we get plenty of them, and it's gonna be, when are you gonna do something after a kid gets ran over? And with all the people we have walking over here, I see you walking out there, you see it a lot of the times about how fast people go through, and we have worked those areas
Yeah, and those
hard.
pylons aren't gonna protect.
No, that plastic pipe isn't gonna help you.
Well, and I'll be honest, the penalty assessment that you're gonna get from one of my officers stopping and writing a citation is gonna be is gonna cost you a lot more than the citation that they send you when you calculate in that now it's gonna affect your driving record, now it's gonna affect your insurance rates. Those things are gonna hit you harder in the long run than the civil citation that they're gonna get from this.
Understood.
Yeah, we're just trying to get people to slow down.
Thank you.
So, to understand, let's just say the ordinance says $100 per citation. And that'll be a flat fee. Say 5 over is grace, but if I'm going 40, if I'm going, 30 miles over the speed limit, would that increase in the amount that the citation is? Just a flat 100? That's what I was thinking. That's what will work on that. Okay.
I wonder if we could explain the mobile courts a little more.
Can you explain the mobile court a little bit more?
Sure. So with our back-end system, our mobile court terminal allows for pulling and preparing all of the evidence packages when citations are challenged, and it does not need to be connected to the internet. So when you're preparing to go in for that particular day of court, you can download all of the evidence packages. In many cases, as I stated, we actually do that. You'll have an account manager assigned when you partner with Ultimate, an actual individual that works with you day to day, where you can download the evidence packages for each court day, and you have them all ready to go without having to be attached connected rather to the internet within the court.
Okay, because you did say on that mobile court that would be one area that you would not be assisting with, that would be up to the local entity to develop?
No, we assist with everything. We're full turnkey. So your account manager will actually come out and be there with you for the first couple court dates. Because after the first 1 to 2, the numbers get so low typically. Most of our partners are like, all right, we're good. We have this covered. But for those first 2, they'll be out there as an expert just to help you with everything, as well as help you as you stand up that process, however it works best for the village. Like I said, most of our partners have 1 day a month. They almost treat it like parking violations. They'll do 1 day a month where they'll pull anybody challenging, and then that 1 day each month, those folks come in and state their case. Quite frankly, it's owner liability in New Mexico, and we give the ability to transfer liability. All they have to do is give us the information of the person that was driving the vehicle. But my point of bringing that up is it's pretty open and shut. They're not going to get a ticket unless that vehicle was speeding through that zone. So we just don't get many challenges to this. That combined with the fact it's a civil infraction that costs a heck of a lot less than getting pulled over by the police department in the long run.
Well, absolutely. I like the idea where they can go into a portal and actually view their own violation. And I would think that would prompt a lot of people to just go ahead and pay. I really think I haven't seen that before.
And just get them to slow down. That's the whole thing. I know
If they
Chief gets
won't
tired of me
read it.
calling him.
If they'll read the signs.
Well, they'll start reading them. That's the point. They don't give a flip now. And I'm constantly calling these guys to have officers out there. We've done traffic counts, we've done radar, all of that stuff. And then the answer is speed bumps.
Well, and looking at some of these roads, some of them, like Junction is a pass-through, right, from Highway 70 to Sutterth.
Right.
So they don't have to go through the Sutterth 70 intersection. Although the percentage of infractions are relatively low when you look at the overall totals. I mean, we have over 3,000 vehicles that go through there. Actually, I don't remember what the numbers were. There's a considerable amount of vehicles that go through there every single day. Although the enforceable numbers are really low, we're still gonna hit those people, even though it doesn't look like percentage-wise there's a lot of people that go
Right.
through there. And it'll be all day, every day for the time that it's there.
Okay.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for the presentation.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you
Chief.
very
Thank you,
much.
Lieutenant. You did great as always, man. Yeah, so, well, thank you, Sam. Appreciate it. We'll be in touch.
No, thank you. Thank you all. If any questions come up, don't hesitate to let me know.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
And then next we'll move over to Mr. Consistency. Move back to public input. Mr. Bill Hall, come on down.
Forgot about that.
Get the clock going.
That's when we start calling him Clock. He's just like a clock. He's always on time.
We try. I will say this, if you adopt the speed cameras, the maximum fine you're allowed to do will get people's attention.
Yep, I
Guaranteed.
agree.
Had a few things I wanted to talk about today, and it kind of prompted me after the Monday morning with the mayor on the radio. I'll tell anybody who's listening, if you do not listen to that show, download it and listen to it when it's not live. A lot of good information. One of the things from Monday, a couple things impressed me, was that we've already removed 360,000 tons of silt out of the rivers. And just in rough terms, that's at least 18,000 trucks that have been through the village. But one of the things that I saw and I heard in frustration in Ron and Lynn and your voice and Michael's is how everything gets paid. And one of the things I was going to throw out here today is just a different concept that I'm certainly going to push further up to as a FEMA reform. We've got a series of things from the fire and the floods now, the cascading events. There should be no reason why FEMA, since all this money is coming from FEMA, they should not direct pay the village to manage the task of specific tasks like the desilting and the flood cleanup. With the hoops we have to go through now between FEMA, NRCS, and then the state's own little twist on things that make things possible, you get gaps where contractors cannot continue to work. I saw this personally in Brady Canyon talking to the contractors there. They said, we don't know, the funding's going to go away. They tell us the funding's going to be here. But one of the reforms FEMA could do on the federal level is where you've got entities, whether they be a village or a county, is for certain tasks, not everything. I get certain things have to be FEMA reviewed, but there should be a direct payment so that the village can continue, the contractors to continue the work that's already approved in the scope of the work for the disaster. Because, guys, we're going to face this for the next 7 years. We're going to have that cascading event with every monsoon season. So it's a different concept of that. I have no idea whether I could be successful at doing that. The state legislature probably doesn't like it because it takes the state out of the loop. But it gets to where the problem is being addressed. And that's one of the things that isn't happening on a timely basis. It happens, but God, it takes forever. So that was just one of those crazy ideas I wanted to throw out to you and think about it because you deal with it more than I do, but I just see the results. And you hear the people complain, oh, we're not doing it. No, we're doing it, but the process is just screwy. And I'm going to do my best to change it. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. But I think that's a better model to get to the point where the problem gets solved. Because we're going to be dealing with desilting for 7 years. It's going to happen. And if we don't deal with it, you'll fill up the riverbanks and you'll get back to where we were last year. You get a big flood and you get a bigger problem. So 2 minutes, good. Okay, the other thing I wanted to do was, again, just my push for, if you know people on the Lodgers Tax Committee, build 2 more disc golf courses. I'm telling you, getting a world championship here in Ruidoso would be interesting. And as I said, I'm not a disc golfer, never played, but I'd love to see one that has total water hazards around Lake Grindstone. Everybody should appreciate losing something in the water. And then finally, the other thing is just, I know, as I said, when you're looking at the GRT and the budgets, and a lot of the GRT improvement was in unclassified dollars. I would encourage you, as you go through and look at the budgets and things, don't count on that continuing, because I suspect most all of that is related to contractors here. And I know you probably know that, but I just wanted to say that. And I think I've used my time wisely.
All right, thank you. And if we get a lot of people like you that would reach out, maybe we could get some change. Because it is very frustrating. And again, you know, we're out of money waiting on funding as we speak right this minute. Okay, so now we'll move on to the village manager's report. Mr. Ron.
Mayor and council, I'm going to have Mike just stepped out. I was going to have him give an update on 603. I'm going to have Matt, is Matt gone also? We're having we have some potential flooding off of Brady Canyon and Upper Canyon, so just.
Well, Matt's just standing there.
Eddie, you want to grab?
Talking to Zach, and now they're talking to the other ones. So
It's
if they're gonna-
raining pretty hard over there.
Yeah. So if they're coming, we'll get them in. If not, then we'll dismiss them and then go to work.
Okay. You want to give an update on the marathon real quick?
Sorry about that. Morning. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. So the marathon this year, I just wanted to give y'all a quick update. We're making some changes to it. As we know, the marathon is in 2 weeks. And the marathon normally runs kind of meanders through town. It does cross Meacham a couple times, Sudworth, I believe once. It just is in and out of town. It does go down Brady Canyon area. And so it goes kind of through some of our high-risk areas. This year, we've seen an exceptional number of registrants. So we've contracted Shane Ashbury out to manage the marathon this year, and as well as he did last year. Normally, we average about 300 to 350 participants in the marathon. This year, we had to stop registration at 750.
Good.
Gosh.
And so we had to stop registration just because we didn't have the medals and shirts and all that stuff to go along for more registrants, so we had to stop it. But due to the high risk of flooding in a lot of our paths and stuff this year, we're working with Fort Stanton, and we're actually going to be starting the marathon out there, and the marathon will take place on 220. And so Airport Road, it'll be an out and back, coming basically towards 48. It depends if it's half marathon, full marathon, or the 50K race, where they turn around at. But it will be that stretch of the road. And so it helps us a lot in the village with logistics. It makes it a whole lot easier because 220 has 6 foot wide or wider shoulders. They'll be running on the shoulders. It's a lot easier. We're actually going to be hiring a security firm, the security firm we use for everything, Crusaders, out of Roswell. They have lit patrol cars and everything to take that demand off of our PD and our sheriff's department stuff. They can come in and they can do the traffic control for us and stuff on 220. And so we just thought it was a lot better plan, especially for this year with a lot of unknowns. And so we will, in the future, revisit. We want to see how this year goes out there. And then in the future, possibly revisit coming back through town. But like I said, it's also a lot safer for the runners and a lot easier logistics-wise for people in town. And so we'll see how this year goes out there and determine if we want to keep it out there. And honestly, like I said, we've had probably we cut off registration this past weekend just because we hit that number. We've probably had another 30-plus people contact us wanting to sign up. And so we could probably be 800 or more. So next year we'll probably anticipate 1,000-plus for this marathon. And that's the marathon, half marathon, the 50K. We also have a 5K that will take place on that Friday. And the 5K and fun run will still be at Wingfield Park. So the 5K runs to that neighborhood there. We never touch DOT. It's kind of an easier route for us. And so we'll keep the 5K in town, but the half marathon, full marathon, and the 50K run will all be out at Fort Stanton and on 220 there.
If I recall, Matt, you did the 5K like Friday night.
It is,
correct?
yes, yeah.
And that helped with all the kids and everybody.
So it's going to be a really cool event next Friday. So the 5K will start at 6 p.m. And so we'll have basically the 5K will take off, the music will start, so all the supporters that aren't running the 5K can hang out in the park. And then the park runners, or then the runners will just filter back into the park on Friday evening as the music's going and stuff. So.
Oh, so the free concert?
Yes.
Will be okay.
Yep, so it'll be going on.
Oh,
The race and everything, the start of the race is on the north end of the park, so down by the bathrooms. And they'll exit out there, and then they actually come in the northwest corner at Grindstone and Gavilan, or not Gavilan, Grindstone and Wingfield there. And they'll come in the park there, run around the trail in the back area, and then finish down by the bathrooms.
Okay. And is this funded by lodger's tax?
There is some lodger's tax funding that goes to it for advertising. However, the registration is what funds most
Got
of
it,
it. So.
okay.
And the way with this company we contract is they keep a percentage of the registration. So, like I said, Shane's been working hard to boost those numbers from 300, and we're at 750. He puts on several other races a year and has advertised our races at those races to get those numbers up. And we've seen, I mean, the better the race does, the more he gets. He has a reason to make it as best as he
And
can.
where's this gonna run again?
So it'll start at Fort Stanton. The half marathon through the 50K process on Saturday will start at Fort Stanton, come out to Airport Road, and then go towards 48. And I think, and don't give me, can't quote the exact turnaround points because I haven't seen them exactly, but I believe the half marathon's around the Spencer Theater. And then the full marathon is around, the turnaround is around where the barn, Noisy Water Barn is. And 50K turnaround will actually be at 48.
Okay.
And so those are kind of the,
So just so you know, again, you said that it's wide. As you're coming from Fort Stanton till you get to the cattle guard, there is no shoulder.
yeah. And so Shane's already went and run those, and that's one of the places we'll have one of our security guards with a lit vehicle at, just to slow people down and keep them moving around.
Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
Sounds good.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Matt.
It's gonna be a big deal. So 300 and how many?
So we normally have 300 to 350. This year we have 750
Wow.
between the 5 races.
Wow.
So we do a 1 mile kids race, 5K, those two are on Friday. And those, this year, normally it's been sponsored by Schlotzsky's. This year, he decided not to sponsor it, so Pizza Hut stepped up and is sponsoring
So
it.
it's not called the Bun Run
It won't be
anymore.
the Bun Run, it'll be the Pizza Hut Fun Run, so.
Okay, excellent.
And then on Saturday, we have a half marathon, full marathon, and a 50K. So they'll be doing 13.1 miles, 26.2 miles, and then 50 kilometers.
Wow.
So-
Okay, well, excellent.
Yes,
Sounds
sir.
good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Mayor and council, Adam is online, and we're going to have him give his updates real quick. He's out up in the Upper Canyon, update on the Cream Meadows Culvert Project. Adam, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Adam, are we having flooding up there?
Yeah, headwaters just hit reservation line.
Okay,
So as far as Cream Meadows, we have procured a contractor, Rymark Construction.
Hernandez on Gavilan Bridge.
So that we're good. We're going to do a notice to proceed. He's getting the culverts and everything ordered. But like I said, we do have a contractor ready to go as soon as Paradise is complete and we can keep it open.
okay.
Okay, Adam, on the Innsbrook paving project?
So hold on one second. I'm sorry. Sorry. So, gosh. Innsbrook, the crews have had to pull off of the paving due to the flooding and stuff. They have done Metz Drive, and they did some skin patching and everything on Grenoble. So, like I said, as soon as we can, the weather lets up a little bit for the guys to keep on paving, they'll continue on.
Headwaters to McDaniel.
Okay,
Okay, Adam, McDaniels Bridge?
Okay, McDaniel, so we work, as was stated earlier, we're working with DOT on a design and maybe a build of that bridge. Looks like it's gonna take too long to do that, so we reached out to a couple contractors to give us some prices on it. We do have a design of a 48-inch culverts as a low water crossing and concreted in with sloped edges. That way, if the debris does hit it, it's not gonna take it out. The debris will flow over it, and all we'll have to do is go clean it back off.
Adam, what was the size of the former culverts?
So the culverts that are in there are like 62-inch culverts, the box culverts. But when the debris hits it, there's nowhere for it to go, so they're boxed. With the sloped ends and the concreted in, it's not going to take it out. Right now, it's taking everything with it.
Understood.
And that thing keeps getting wider and wider.
Okay, Adam on Starlight.
So Starlight, as you know, Paradise is open. Starlight is filled all the way back up. I know MP reached out to the contractor that's doing the paving today. So hoping he can get the paving done, and all he'll have to do is the west and east slopes there with riprap.
Okay, thank you. Just keep us updated on the flooding event.
Thank you, Adam. All right, Michael.
And MP, he was here for just a minute, but he had to step out. I thought he was going to do Starlight.
And Mayor and Council, back on McDaniels Bridge, it'll be a temporary repair. If we do get a proposal, we'll schedule a special meeting to get that moving quickly, so.
Which one do you want me to start with?
603, update on the 603.
I've got the star of 603 over here.
Yeah, he's the one
Go,
with
Levi.
the whip.
At this point, I don't know if I want. If it's going right, it's him. If it's wrong, it's on me. So I'll take that. So HomeSpot has their inspection scheduled for Thursday. Weather dependent, they can get on some of the grading they have left to finish. And then Mountain Electric has their electrical inspection for tomorrow. And they're completed with all their work. So once both of those inspections happen, then we'll be able to get the green tag for P&M, and they can come.
Backfill?
Yes, sir, just come make everything live and bring our meters and everything, so we'll have power. And then HomeSpot will be able to do the final work with the homes, and once the lights are on and we have water, so we'll be able to finish everything on the inside and do like walkthroughs and all that.
How is the development responding to the rains?
It's good. I think with the millings, it'll help once we get the millings on the road. That'll help a lot. So, and then our dirt contractor is also making berms in areas to, kind of divert water away from the homes.
Mayor and Councilor Corey, we do need some millings out there. I got stuck twice so far and I can't get out, so.
Not even close to the house.
Oh, no, and I slid right off the road, so.
It's because you have a
Two-wheel drive, that is changing in the next couple of weeks. My wife and I have already had that conversation, so.
La Luz Dirt and Paving is working on the dirt work that's ongoing. The weather has held us up quite a bit with the rain. So they have completed a lot of work. They did work over this last weekend. So once they get millings hauled, then we'll be in a good spot. We'll be able to get landscaping. We can't really get the landscaping done until some of those other pieces happen, and then fencing to follow. And I can't start on the fencing because there's a berm on the north property line that goes up the road on the north side. So, and then around the homes, if we're landscaping around the homes, we can't really do fencing until that happens as well. So some of those things, but it's moving along. Mayor and Council, we've also submitted to the Department of Transportation District 2, the permit agent, our traffic control plan that Ryan Mark will be doing the work on the entranceway. So we're just waiting on that approval on that too. And once Levi gives us the green light, when it's ready to go, they'll knock that out, so.
And to remind everybody, Ryan Mark is the one that did the fencing for us.
Yes.
And also did,
They're also, they're part of Starlight. They're
Starlight,
and
yeah,
and
they
M-
subbed.
and MP Chavez has been a sub for them. So
How did Starlight respond to the water yesterday?
Good.
I drove, Mayor Crawford, Councilor Corey. I drove through there several times, and it was we weren't getting a lot of flow. The flow was going great through there, but didn't see any flooding, so everything was working great,
And
so.
how was the debris? Was it stacked up?
In that area, I didn't see a whole lot of debris, but, you know, there was that flow coming down to Innsbrook wasn't as heavy, I guess you would say, but it came in a different direction, so.
We're probably going to see that today, though. That's
Maybe a little
coming down
different
now.
today on that, so.
The one thing I did want to mention that was brought up about 603, Counselor Corey, Counselor Letterman, Mayor, you had talked about the flows, and so one of the discussions, or one of the questions to Levi was, how are those flows doing? There is a culvert on that southeast end where the water ends up draining. That actually hasn't been filling up significantly. Most of the flows that you saw that were in that video were coming off, as you mentioned, Counselor Letterman, off of Poor and off of the street that Michael J's on.
Grove?
Yes, on Grove. So there was a lot of debris up on the backside of that road against the rock wall on the opposite end of Michael J's. We went back and started looking at that flow, and it does come down that area. And so that's a lot of the water that we also saw. And so we did talk to District 2 as well about those items. So
Okay,
those are going to be
appreciate
things
it.
that come up for discussion.
Okay.
I don't have anything
So the utilities will all be in once we pass the inspection on, what day? Thursday?
Thursday, yes, sir.
Thursday, and then we'll start backfilling.
Everything's backfilled, sir.
Oh, it's already
Yes,
backfilled.
sir.
So then when do you plan on millings?
As soon as it dries out enough, they can start. Tony's been coordinating with Adam because the millings are village-provided millings. for the
Right.
project, so.
Okay, so you don't have any kind of an expected date?
It was supposed to be last week, so I think when it dries out, maybe middle of this week or something.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. It's exciting, and then we'll have a grand opening over there, because I know we got people ready to move in.
Thanks, Levi.
Thank you very much.
Mayor and council, Mike has the next one also. It's going to be the update on the clean and lean properties. And with Stephanie.
Yes.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Do you mind pulling that up, Yvonne? Oh, they're already there. So, Mayor and Council, as you recall, one of the items that you had asked us to look at were clean and lean properties, or properties that were left behind after the floods and after the fires that either did not get PPDR, that did not get right-of-way debris removal, or where insurance companies have not ended up cleaning those properties as of today. And so there's actually one other, there's probably a few others, but one specifically was 106 College that we had passed by that I hadn't seen before. So we'll be adding that to the list. And there's two others that we identified in the last week that will be added onto this as well. So the items that you're seeing are all of the properties that have been identified with debris that are still left on the properties. Those properties that are in red are the ones that you really want to focus on. Those are the ones where we hadn't made contact, where we haven't been able to get any communications on or be able to identify any cleanups. Now, I say that, but as of this morning, we actually received an email on one of those properties. Which property was it?
235 Cynthia.
So 235 Sandia actually emailed us and said that we would in fact be, they would in fact be moving forward and trying to clean the property. They actually don't have access, is that correct?
No, that's a different.
Oh, that's a different one. So they are trying to move forward on that property. There's another property that is on the back half of 103 East Riverside. So they can't get to their property because the bridge is out. They're requesting extra time until they can get a contractor back there. So we are in fact working with them to make sure that they'll have the ability to clean that as well. But the other properties after that are the ones that don't. And so we will be coming to you to basically present those items to council to see clean and lean for those. The rest of them have made efforts, or at least in communications with us, to let them know that they can clean those properties accordingly.
And Michael, these are all residential properties?
Yes, sir.
Mayor.
Go ahead.
Michael, I had sent you the email, a group on those two houses, trailer houses or whatever. Will they get added on here?
Yes, sir. Those are the two,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Cool, thank you.
And I was looking at one I'd ask about that we'd done some work on. I don't see, I think it's on Barkus.
So the one on Barkus is not on this list because they are actually under an insurance item and they are working on it. So that's just one of those that we're waiting on. They did send an insurance letter that said that they were pending cleanup. They were trying to finalize something. I can specifically reference
How do we keep that up to date, that didn't hold up? Because we've got quite a few of those that we're looking at on property, the debris removal.
Yes, sir.
So, but this been going on for quite a while, and they started and stopped, and so now it's the insurance is holding it up.
Yes, sir, Mayor and Council. So we are keeping lists. This is one of the lists. I think we're going to have to document the insurance side a little bit differently. One of the commercial properties that you all may be familiar with is that on the other side of J Bar J, the Emporium. So that's another one that's on there that's being identified. That's an insurance item. And so there are, and we'll have to probably work with Zach on what we'll do moving forward. If we move forward and have a clean and lean approach, that makes the insurance look at us as being the liable group that's trying to remove the property. There's a lot of issues that can occur. So we'll probably work with Zach on the best approach for those insurance claims that are still pending.
Yeah, because I don't want to be afraid of them just sending us a letter and saying, we're discussing it. We have a timeline here. They need to obey the law like everybody else.
Yes, sir.
And that building looks dangerous. And I'm surprised it's not down already and fallen down.
Well, there's that property, and then there's a second property that's also in the same issues. I've been dealing with that insurance agent on a weekly basis. Initially, they wanted the PPDR to take the homes down. They took, there's 5 properties. They took 4 of them down. It's the one right off of Paradise and Meander, just before that. That property, for whatever reason, has been identified as a rebuildable structure, which we're going back and forth on. We've had letters go back and forth on substantial damage to other items, and so we're pending that as well.
So do we just get them into court and start a daily fine?
I think that's the direction that we're going to have to look at.
I would do it.
With that, are there any questions related to this item?
I do have to, I'm sorry. I do have to say that on Gavilan, there was a property that was just inundated with old things and animals, and he died, and it has been cleaned up, and it looks marvelous. That looks great.
There's still one little outbuilding.
There is. I did notice that, but
Scoured that thing.
oh my gosh, that looks so good.
Councilor Jackson?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Michael, on the ones that are redlined, are those ones that certified letters have been sent, but there's no traffic or pattern of acceptance?
There isn't any communication, other than the one we just mentioned, there isn't any communication or anything else with them. And so those are the ones we would move for recommendation on clean and lean to council.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, do you have anything else, Michael?
No, sir, not on that one.
Okay,
We have the next item. Would you like to move to that one?
thanks, Stephanie.
Oh, no, that's on the regular items.
Oh, never mind.
Sorry.
Okay, then we'll move on. Does
If there's
anybody have any other
any other
questions for
questions?
Ron?
I've got
Yes,
a few
sir.
questions for Ron.
Okay.
Do we have a completion date on the village roadway improvement projects?
Mayor Crawford, Councilor Corey on the Cutler project.
Yes.
We're well, with this rainfall, but I think the date they gave us was about 60 days. They thought they could knock it out. Once we get a little bit more on how their schedule's going, I know they were starting on Brady Canyon on that area, and I think they got hit yesterday, but they did complete all the patching on Sudworth, which looks really well. I know Francisco's happy, so.
Okay, and then the other projects on White Mountain, Leon Farrar,
That's all part of this project here.
Okay, so-
So we're looking at possibly 60 days to usually Cutler can go down a roadway and do it pretty quick. White Mountain Drive, they usually go through those pretty quick and get a project done.
and your report indicated they were testing the generator at Horton. How did that go?
And Levi has that. He's been working on that. We've been having some issues with that. We've been working with Zia Gas. They've been great to help us with working on that with their staff, their engineer, and that generator for some reason is not responding. But Levi has, I can have him come in and give an update on that. But
That's fine.
yes,
And then, Mayor, last question for Ron. Two Rivers Park, what's the timeline on it?
did he leave also?
He left to,
I know that we were going to do, I know it was part of the New Mexico Municipal League conference. We're going to do the placing of the new playground equipment as the
Bridge.
community project
It got flooded yesterday.
on the, is Matt still?
Two Rivers Park, do you have any idea when he said the completion was going to be on that? No?
That's going to be the community project. I know Counselor Eby has always been involved in those, so he'd be one of the main ones there helping us with it.
Okay.
Levi, the question came up about the generator.
Yes, sir. We got that one completed today. We fired it up. I was working with Zia Gas, and they got us adequate pressure to be able to run the generator, and everything went fine. We also ran into another issue with the generator itself. One of the breakers on the generator was bad. It was supposed to take 3 weeks for the new breaker, but we actually got it in a week. So we swapped it out this morning, and everything transferred, it fired up. We're good to go. It's complete.
Perfect. And again, thanks to Zia Natural Gas, they've been helping us with that. I appreciate Wes has done a lot, so thank you.
Ron, thank you. Mayor, thank you.
You betcha.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anything else from Ron?
Thanks,
Okay.
Ron.
All right, and we'll start with reports from municipal officials. And you'll start down here with you,
Sure.
Councilor Corey.
Real quickly, Mayor, I, along with several other council members, attended the chamber banquet, and it was very nice that they recognized the Heritage Museum. Again, my thanks to whoever made this mural possible. It turned out nice, and they got it up quickly, and I know Councilor Solis was concerned about the initial drawings, but it came out well.
It did. It came out really good.
And then also, just a note, we did lower the fire danger today?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, the chief came in, he lowered it yesterday. It went on. So we'll go back to Matthew. We had a question on Two Rivers Park.
Yeah, sorry, I'm running now trying to get stuff organized. So Two Rivers Park, I heard the question. I was listening to it on the other radio, on the other ear. Two Rivers Park, so we just got funding for that as of a week ago. So July 1 was the start of the funding. So we're starting the planning, or I say the planning, the trying to get the items per portion. We're getting quotes right now. We're gathering that stuff. So I would venture to say 6 to 8 months is my goal for it. It depends on, some of the big items like the bridge and the pavilions, what the lead time is on those. What's hard with some of those is I can call today and they say, oh no, we can get them to you real quick. And then I call in 2 weeks when we get the PO made and, well, somebody just ordered a bunch of them, so you're way far behind now. So, but part of it also is like with the playground and some of those items is we are, I'm kind of observing how these floods are going. I don't want to put a $300,000 playground where the old one sat and then have it destroyed by a flood.
Can we repurpose the equipment?
That playground, we cannot. Because FEMA is going to be, it was qualified for partial replacement or FEMA. And so since they deemed it as destroyed, or actually they deemed it as contaminated from floodwaters, we do have to destroy that equipment. The equipment that will probably be auctioned off or be reused is from Schoolhouse Park, the old equipment from there. We've actually had a few people in town reach out to us and ask us to make sure they're notified when we get ready to auction that off, just because, they want it in their area, so.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, the playground though, isn't that in the floodway?
Currently is, yes.
So is that where you're replacing it?
right now, we're kind of looking around. I would like to move it to a different location in that park.
Right.
Just because to protect our assets, honestly. There are some areas on the backside that aren't really flooding, or we're not seeing the type of flooding.
The backside, the north side of the river.
Yeah, the north side of the
behind
river.
Chamber.
Behind the chamber, kind of where that pavilion is on the backside, on that area. There's some area over there that we haven't seen significant flooding. It kind of, because it turns there at the chamber, it kind of, the way it turns, it's protected
Right.
that little area. And so I'm kind of looking at that area, and with these floods, as we're getting them, we're kind of documenting where it's staying dry or where it's staying more protected, and so we can protect our assets when we put them in the ground.
Okay.
Anybody else? Well, we got him? Okay.
Thanks,
Counselor Jackson?
Oh, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Just a shout out to Fire, Police, Parks and Rec, Street Department for making this long holiday weekend as successful as it could have been and was. And also that there weren't any serious injuries or accidents. There was a lot going on and a lot of folks moving in different places, and it couldn't have done it more smoothly, and we thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Matt.
Counselor Hooker?
Mr. Mayor, second all of those comments, and just want to say, I know times are tough right now, but I think we as this governing body have to continue to do our collective effort as we have been, and just know that we have the interest of this village at the forefront of everything we do. Unfortunately, there's others that don't agree with that.
You've been reading my Facebook posts?
I'm trying to, I'm
Talking
actually,
to my fans.
Yeah, just the ones on the dark web.
I'm just, my frustration overflows. I had Tim come into my business the other day, and I vomited on him, and I just want to say again, I think we're doing the right thing. I sleep well at night, and it's ugly right now, but we just have to keep going. God bless Ruidoso.
All right, thank you. Counselor Salas?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Mine's short and sweet, and Councilor Corey alluded on going to stage 1 restrictions, and also Amanda left, but the Forest Service too. I called her yesterday, and the Forest Service went there, and I think Chief Hall mentioned that they wanted to be synced when they lowered the restrictions, so at least now the people could go out and get fires going, campfires and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
they did that Friday.
So anyway, so that's a good thing. The painting project over at the convention center, it's looking nice. I was by there this morning, and man, I like that color.
Congratulations, Ron.
It's doing good. It's like, man,
Outside?
the outside, yeah.
Because everybody that's called me said, man, that we love the color, and Ron was off.
What color is it?
It's a kind of a green
greenish.
that, with another one, and then you got that red brick, orange brick that was there. And
Yeah.
it really pops, but it looks good. Ron did a good
It
job.
blends into the forest to me, so it's coming out really good is all I could say on that too, so. But that's all really what I had to say, and just keep up the good work, crew. Y'all are doing it good, and it's, yeah, times like this, usually it's shelter at home. That's all I say. Oh, I did survey about 7 men about the speed cameras. And the only comment I got right there, well, you need to ticket the ones that only go 5 miles an hour on the road. That was the only comment that I got out of those guys this morning. So, anyway.
Okay, Counselor Letterman?
I went to the show on Saturday, the laser show, the drone show, and it was wonderful. And I've never seen so many people.
Oh, yeah.
There had to be, well, I heard T-Bone think it was like 3,500. Yeah, it was just amazing, but there was a lot of compliments, so thank you very much, Parks and Rec. And then I had today, Jennifer Brewer call me. She was afraid that she wouldn't be here because of the rain. But she wanted to compliment Adam and his crew for always being there when they're needed. there was a line that broke in the river and for water line, I believe, and they got that fixed. She said their attitude is always wonderful. And then she said, and while you're here, can you go down by the bridge? She lives on Rio. Can you go down by the bridge? There are several railroad ties that are blocking. So they went down and did that. So she was just very thankful and appreciative of the Village of Ruidoso Water Department. So.
Joe?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Just want to thank the village for putting on the employee appreciation picnic. That's always great to recognize all the employees. And I think that every employee for the village showed up and went there, because Wingfield Park was very, very packed. Congratulations to Susan, to Stephanie for their awards on the Wingfield House, for the beautification, and also for the radio show, the Ruidoso Rewind. And I also went to the drone show, and that was pretty impressive. It's about 14 minutes long, 10 minutes longer than the past shows. So there were a lot of oohs and ahs than the past drone shows. But there were a lot of oohs and ahs there.
Yes.
And there were still people hunting parking spots at 9:15, 9:20, and they were just pretty much out of luck that late.
Guarantee it.
Pretty much out of luck. I got there at 8:30, and I barely found a spot.
I got there
When
at
did you
5.
get home?
Pardon?
I say, when did you get home,
Well, I
Councilman?
park strategically. I always think of exit when I park, so I got home pretty quick. But that was a great, so thank Matt and Parks and Rec. And I just want to have a shout out to all the village employees. You know, after I walked the dog this morning, I drove around the village at 6:30. And everything cleaned up. It's almost like there was no event that happened last night. The Parks and Rec was out there. They were sweeping kind of the debris away from the Midtown restrooms, and I'm sure that they were everywhere that the Ruidoso maintains, that they were out there cleaning it up. So just thank you for everyone for their diligence and their dedication. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you.
Oh, I do have one more thing. Thank you for the appreciation letter here.
Oh,
Yes.
Mayor.
And what I'd like to do is personally thank you for your dedication, for the hours that you put in, and for the phone calls you've taken, for running down money, talking to legislators, talking to different governmental agencies, and such like that, because I know it hadn't been easy. I will kind of ad-lib what you said on the radio, that you are frustrated at times. You know, you almost had it up to here with that. Just always constant, because it is a constant. It is a constant, and I want to thank you for your dedication.
Well, thank you all. And we've got a great staff that stays after it. I'll just give you an update. We got almost all of the streets are closed. We've had a wall of water come over. It's predicted this is the big one. Go ahead, Mike. We've had some homes impacted.
The expectation, Mayor, is that this is probably going to be the worst flooding we've seen, even worse than last year. We've had 5-foot walls of water coming, and we probably have another 4-foot wall of water coming down. Crews are handling those as we speak. We're going to address it as much as we can, but we have multiple street closures. There's roughly about 8 closed right now. Most of our bridges are closed as of right now, just with the regular flash flooding. So as the water recedes, we'll handle those. But we're seeing more debris in this flood than we did the last 2. So we're going to be addressing those as well. Crews are out and about.
Michael, is that from the river, Upper Canyon, or where is the water?
Everywhere.
Okay.
The county has evacuated
Cedar
Creek. There's a move to higher ground everywhere in the county along that area. And so we're seeing water from every which direction we can imagine. So far, 70 hasn't been hit, but everything's coming off of the South Fork.
Okay.
And we have a Swiftwater team. It's at 200 block of Main Road.
We have
Main Bridge.
multiple swift water rescues in effect right now as we speak.
Hummingbird Lane Home has been impacted. So just all of that is going on right now.
Are we keeping the closures up to date on social media?
Yes, sir. So as we close them, the map is being updated, social media is being alerted, and that information is also being sent to the radio station so we can make sure we're putting it out there as well. Yes, sir.
Do you have the Discover Ruidoso QR code online with that so that people can download that and kind of update through that